come on in, get yourself comfortable. We are about to start this briefing. If you could just put a little yes in the chat, you can hear me, you can see everything, we are functioning, then we will get straight in. Thanks, Leah, appreciate that. Thank you very much. Also, if you do feel comfortable, do pop in the chat which venue or hotel you own, work for, manage. If you're comfortable to share where you are joining from, then that is perfect. Thank you, Victoria. Thanks, Claire. Appreciate that. Okay. We are on a short time scale today, so I'm going to speak fast. I'm going to throw a lot at you. You are welcome to ask questions in the chat as we go, but I will leave extra time at the end for Q&A. So my plan is squeeze it all in to the 25-minute mark. And for those of you that have questions and want to stay a few minutes after, we can do that at the end. So let me know if that sounds okay. Amazing. Yes, fantastic. Thanks for sharing that, Dawn. Thank you. Yes, we've got people from Florida. We've got people from the UK. Roberto, good to see you. The Legacy, good to see you. Amazing, amazing. Cheltenham, fantastic. Right, I'm going to dive right in because we do not have minutes to spare with this session today. So just give me a Y for yes if you can see my screen when it starts sharing. Let me pop up your comments so I can see us as well. Amazing. Perfect. All right, let me just pin that one there. Super. So, sorry, 1 second, just sorting out the tech. There we go. Okay, so I started with this screen. The number one reason you don't have higher wedding revenue has nothing to do with more leads. And I think often when we're in our revenue meetings, we're talking to our team, we kind of fall back on this. We just need more leads. And what I want to show you in the next 25 minutes is actually your focus is in the wrong place to take you to the next level. So I created this 25-minute wedding briefing, very specifically for senior leaders of venues and hotels. So if you are comfortable to share, could you just let me know what your role is in your property? You might be the manager, you might be the head of sales, you might be the owner. Just pop that in the chat. It's always really interesting to see who we've got on the call. And by the way, if you are a wedding coordinator or an event manager who's found their way here, you are also super welcome. This conversation will certainly be pitched at the senior leaders. Okay, perfect. Yes, lovely, fantastic. So this conversation is definitely going to be for you if you're a senior leader in a venue or hotel. You want to increase weddings. Now, there's obviously two pieces to that. That could mean quantity, number of weddings, or indeed quality. You might be looking at pushing up the average booking value. Just let me know actually in the chat. Are you more interested in quantity of weddings? So we just need more dates, more weddings on the books, or actually you're at a good number and what you're interested in is quality of weddings. So you want to increase that average booking value. Let me know in the chat which one is more relevant to you. And maybe it's both. Maybe it's both. Yeah, we've got a few saying both. Okay, amazing. Grace is quantity. Elaine is both. Lee's both. Veronica's both. Interesting. Okay, so we're looking for both. Fantastic. This is going to be for you if your bookings are good, right? You're not, you haven't just opened a venue yesterday. You don't have zero on the books. No, bookings are good, but actually you want to take it to the next level. You might be seeing, and again, can you let me know in the chat if this is relevant to you? Number of inquiries, oh, there's a typo there, forgive me. Number of inquiries or leads have decreased. Number of inquiries, and by the way, Americans, we spell inquiries with an E. That isn't the typo. For my Americans, I know you go with the I. Number of inquiries or leads have decreased. Who has started to see that? And it's weird. You know, for maybe 20 years you've been in hospitality and leads have flown in and everything's been fine. Yeah, exactly. And it's actually really helpful to share in the chat because it allows us all in the hospitality game to realize that it isn't you, because I know that sometimes you sit there going, bloody hell, is it me? What am I doing wrong? And actually, this is not you. You might have seen that venue tours have reduced. So the number of warm bodies getting on site has reduced. And also it's harder to secure those venue tours. So your teams might be saying to you, it's a struggle to get people on site. And I often hear this. So when I'm working with our general managers or our teams, I hear the teams saying, if we can get them on site, we can convert. Who hears their team say that? Just give me a Y for yes if you hear your team say that. So they might be saying, look, listen, I don't know what else to do. If I get them on site, they connect with me, we do well. Yeah, lots of you are seeing that. And you might be seeing that you feel unclear where to focus because the reality is you've got a limited time and a limited budget to spend. And again, you might be thinking, well, where am I supposed to put my resources to actually get a return here? And you can let me know in the chat if that's you. You might be seeing that your team have tried various forms of follow-up, but we're not seeing much success. If you're honest, you might have encouraged your team to just pick up the phone. Because we're old school, and if you're like me, we used to talk on the phone. We used to talk to real human beings. And you might have said to your team, just pick up the phone. But it doesn't work anymore. You might have hosted open days. Can you just give me an O for open days if you've tried to do wedding fairs, you've tried to do open days, but actually you're not seeing great results? Again, they used to work, didn't they? Even a few years ago, but we're not seeing great results. And then, of course, we put out offers. We think, well, we'll just slash rate. We'll take 30% off. We'll put a late deal if you get married within the next 6 months, or we add value. So we add something into the package. Hey, get an upgrade on your wine. But we're just seeing limited success. Is any of this resonating with anybody? Are the people on the call in the right place? Is this resonating with you? Just let me know. Yeah, Grace is 100%. Roberta, yeah. Claire, 100%. Absolutely, says Elaine. Veronica, yes. Okay, perfect. Good. You're in the right place, okay? Inside this time, I'm going to show you, you're going to learn why your wedding revenue has stalled. You're going to get very clear on understanding your next steps, and you're going to know how to take your wedding revenue to the next level. It's all going to start to become very clear, because what I want is that from tomorrow, you start seeing increases in revenue. Now, we can't immediately put numbers on your bottom line tomorrow, but what we can do is start seeing an uptick in those results, those stats, those numbers, the metrics, okay? So this is how it looks. We've already done the first few minutes. Key info that I wanted to share with you. I think we've pretty much covered most of that. We're about to jump into the 3 commercial solutions. I can only share 3 in the limited time. Of course, there are more, but I'm going to give you 3 to work on. I'm then going to tell you how we can work together. So if you enjoy the session and the things that I'm going to share, I'll let you know the next steps. I'm also going to show you the next level in the next 90 days. And then if some of you have questions, you can hang around at the end. I will run a live Q&A. And my plan is to do a couple of quick audits on some of your sales assets. So if you'd like my eyes on your business, I'm going to do a few minutes of that as well. So that is our plan. So get a pen, scribble down. I'm going to speak fast. What you don't need. You don't need more leads. Not yet. Okay. These are costing you money and they're falling out of the bottom of the funnel. What does that mean? You're currently thinking, I just need to drive more leads into the business. The problem is not that. That is not your issue. Once we have fixed your issues, then we can drive more leads. Okay. We do not need to put out offers, which lowers our profit and devalues our product. I had one of my GMs this week ask if he should actually get a 360 virtual walkthrough for the venue. Absolutely not. What I need to do first is fix what is broken. And so the 360 is not going to do that. You do not need to find another directory if you're already listing on Hitched, Guides for Brides, Bridebook, The Knot, Wedding Wire, all the other things. You do not need to spend money on another directory. You do not need to attend, create, set up a wedding fair, which costs money. And if we're honest, just does not have the return that it used to. And you'll be pleased to know I'm not even going to tell you to post more on social media. Who is relieved that that is also on the list of don'ts? Because the reality is there are other things that are going to move the needle. Now, of course, yes, I want you to do some of these things eventually, but they're not the things I'm going to talk to you about today. Your current wedding sales journey is outdated. And this is actually the problem, not the other things, okay? So whatever else you try will only have limited return until this is fixed. So all of the other things are going to be affected by the fact that your current wedding sales journey is outdated. And I'm going to unpack some specifics for you. So just before that, you might be asking, well, how the hell do you know, Kelly? How do you know that my wedding sales journey is outdated? How do you know what works right now? I work every day with venues and hotel groups all over the world, mostly in the UK and the US. I'm hands-on, leading venue teams and implementing a high converting wedding sales journey. I'm in the trenches with our teams, okay? I have tried and tested and continue to test every nuance at every step to find out exactly what converts at each step of the process. So I know what is working right now. And I consistently deliver increases of 50 to 100% revenue after we implement steps with my venues, okay? So when I say I know, I'm not sharing a few nice ideas with you, I'm telling you what works right now. These are some of the brands I work with, have worked with, currently working with, and they trust me to increase their revenue. So let me just sidetrack slightly. Who remembers Nokia phones? Who had one pre-iPhone? I definitely did. Tell me in the chat, who remembers these Nokia phones and who had one? Leah, you're too young. Okay, Leah is too young, but the rest of us remember the Nokia phones. Now here, I just want you to ponder this question. Imagine when iPhone was coming out, if Nokia had sat around the revenue meeting and the revenue table and said, we just need more leads. Would that have worked for them? Would it have worked when Nokia was going down the toilet, iPhone was coming in with this completely new way of being? If they had just said, we just need more leads, that's what's going to smash us against iPhone, would that have worked? Tell me in the chat. Maybe they did say that. None of us knows. I wasn't there. No, exactly, Claire. It would not have worked. Because look, they even tried to give this phone away for free and they couldn't do it, right? They were giving the phone away for free with the line rental and we still didn't want it. And here's the problem, okay? When the iPhone launched, Nokia did a lot of what wedding venues are doing right now. And that's why I'm sharing this little snippet about the Nokia, okay? What are we doing in our venues that Nokia did and it was their downfall? This is important, guys. They lost revenue because they kept tweaking instead of adapting to new buyer behavior. They didn't spot the buyer behavior change. They assumed market dominance would protect them. So if one of you is listening and you are part of a big group, a big chain, one of those big brands I just showed on screen, market dominance does not protect you in the wedding market just because you're part of a big brand. Nokia moved too slowly. They did not adapt. They thought they could compete on price, which is what we're doing when we put out those offers and those added values and those last minute deals. We're competing on price. And the most important thing is they underestimated how much consumer behavior had changed. And this is what I'm seeing with wedding venues right now, the ones that are stalling when it comes to revenue. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm not here for hugs and tea. I'm here to help you with your revenue. Your current wedding sales journey is Nokia, okay? So whatever else you try until we fix it is going to have limited return. So let me share 3 solutions that hundreds of my clients have implemented, which will significantly increase your wedding revenue. Just 3. I have many more. I'm going to share 3. The first one, understanding research mode. Okay, write that down if you're taking notes. Research mode is couples are online, stalking, researching, gathering brochures, understanding pricing. They are literally researching like a university project, understanding what they can get, what's available, what costs this, what costs that, because they have no idea. They like low commitment and low touch. So when we keep telling our teams to pick up the phone, to get these people to speak to us, we are doing the opposite of what the buyer behavior wants, okay? Today's couples like low commitment. They like low touch. They don't want to speak to you. They don't want to commit. They are overwhelmed with choice. There are a million venues. They can go to any country, any place. They can have a barn or a hotel or a teepee or a manor house. They are overwhelmed. Someone tell me in the chat, what happens when a buyer is overwhelmed? What does it do to our brains? Whether we're choosing something from a menu or we're choosing a wedding venue, just tell me in the chat, what does that do psychologically to buyers when we're overwhelmed? Yeah, absolutely. TPB venue. That was a mouthful for me. Totally frazzled, so they give up, they lose interest, they shut down, says Chris. They stop, says Dawn, they panic. Exactly. Our couples are in research mode. They need warming up digitally. Okay. They do not want to speak to you on the phone. They do not want to do that. Even they find making an inquiry too high commitment. I want you just to consider this for a minute, because 90% of you have got the words make an inquiry on your website. In fact, who would be brave enough to say, yeah, me, I have that on the website, just pop a me in the chat? Because most of us do. And even the words make an inquiry is too big. They don't want to. They're not ready. They are researching. They are gathering information. They just want to learn more without a human, without having to make an inquiry and show this big stretch of interest. They're just trying to learn more. So what does this mean? What does that mean in reality, all of that stuff I just threw at you? What it means is this. Your website is the first port of call. All roads lead to the website, okay? So whether they see you on a listing site and then they go deeper and they go to the website, they see an ad, they see a social media post, they see a Google pay-per-click, their auntie told them about you, whatever, that all roads lead to the website. And this is where it starts to go wrong. We immediately throw offers at them. How many website reviews I do when I land and it says 20% off remaining dates for 2026. Okay, we immediately throw offers at them. It devalues our product. It makes it feel cheap. They don't even know if they like you. And straight away, you're competing on price. Availability calendar. Who has an availability calendar? I'm not talking about tours. I'm not talking about venue viewing availability. I'm talking about date availability. Get it off the website immediately. It is ruining your business, okay? Your couples are not date driven. Your couples are not date driven. That means they first find the venue and then they work out the date. So by showing them a calendar, we are immediately cutting off people who may have considered you after they saw the venue. And this is a big one when people say, well, how do we get more people booking a Tuesday? Or how do we get more people booking a low season date? This is the big one. Get them on site before you even discuss dates. So get that calendar off the website. We have 5 different options on the menu bar. So what I mean by that is on that homepage where the menu bar is, and it says, you know, accommodation, bars and restaurants, whatever it says, and the wedding tab, we click the wedding tab and it's a drop down of 5 more options. We're going to talk to them about outside weddings and food and beverage menus and the dog friendliness of the hotel. And we give them a million other options. But the more confused a person is, the less they buy. And when you give them all these options on the website, they don't know where to click. So you're asking them to click and choose and do things, but they don't know. Your images might be generic. They're just random pictures of flowers and champagne glasses, or the images are couple focused. So they're just full of loads of other people. The problem with that is that you're selling space and all you're showing people is couples. And what they want to see is, what might my ceremony look like? What might my dinner look like? And we're not showing them. We give them no clear walkthrough. Show me, here's where you get ready. Here's where you have your ceremony. Here's where you sit to eat. Here's where you dance. Here's where you sleep. Show us the walkthrough step by step. Especially for my hotels. Who are my hotels? Just put a H for hotel in the chat. We're too focused on the F&B offering. So what that means is that our brochures or our websites are just full of all the different menu choices, the different canapes. Your couple don't care about the menu until they've decided that you are potentially the right venue. So first they need to see what you look like. Is this going to be right for me? And then they care about the menu. Too early on, you're just over confusing them by focusing on F&B. And we're missing those small, easy steps where we data capture, where we get their email address and we're able to carry on the process. Okay, I'm going to pause here. Tell me in the chat, who's already picked up something they know they're going to take forward from this conversation? I've got loads more to throw at you. I'm going to have to start speaking even quicker. But tell me in the chat. Yes. Okay, perfect. Good. So couples have too much choice And if we don't make it easy, they'll just click onto the next website. They are fickle. They will give you 2 seconds. And if it's not easy and beautiful and gorgeous and showing them the space, they're just going to move on. I want you to do this for me later, not this second. Write this down to do this later. Ask your IT team, or indeed if you're a family-run venue and you're the IT team, I want you to find this number out. How many wedding page visitors did you have in the last 90 days? Ask your IT team, go to your Google Analytics, find the number, not this second, but later. And then compare that to the number of inquiries you had on the website. Let's make a guess. Let's say in the last 90 days, you had 1,000 website visitors. Now, if you're a hotel, then what we're looking at is the stat for the wedding page, okay? If that page had 1,000 visitors in the last 90 days, we know we didn't get 1,000 inquiries, okay? The gap is the immediate opportunity. 1,000 people already knew you existed. They landed on your website, but it didn't do a strong enough job to convert the person into a next step. So without spending any money or driving extra leads, you already have an immediate opportunity. Who can see that? And that's like a light bulb moment. And you can see there's an immediate gap of where you could be picking up business. Okay, so this first thing with the research mode, let me show you an example. My client Lisa, she owns a hotel venue in Yorkshire. She was struggling to drive inquiries and venue tours. They are independent. It's a family-run business. She had no big marketing budget nor a big marketing team. In fact, she was the marketing team. We overhauled her wedding sales journey, especially the wedding page on her website. Within 90 days, her team complained 100% true story. They couldn't manage the amount of wedding viewings being booked. Who would like that problem for their team today? Who would really appreciate that problem? Yeah, I love that. Exactly. So we see that these small details that we're putting in the beginning of the journey are making all the difference. Okay, number 2, easy to buy. Your packages and pricing is part of your marketing. Most venues have too many packages and they're not strategic. We've just thrown them together. We don't know who created them, when they created them, or why we put them the way we did. Your pricing and packaging is confusing, overwhelming, or not compelling. And so it's just leaving people dry. I want you to consider that you need the wedding equivalent of a penthouse. So for my hotel people, this will make sense. But for all you venues on the call, what I want you to do is consider this. When you go to a hotel, you have pricing tiers. Now, I'll be honest, these are London prices I'm sharing with you. So you can say, well, we wouldn't be paying that. But imagine a hotel room in London, okay? Standard room, £800. Junior suite, £1,500. The penthouse, £60,000. Now, what happened immediately on this call, when you looked at those numbers, when you first saw 800, you thought that's expensive. But when you then realized that the penthouse is 60 grand, what happened to the cost of the standard room? Tell me in the chat. It suddenly became good value, right? And for most of us at venues, we are not maximizing the strategy of pricing. We're not thinking about this when we're putting our wedding pricing together. We're only thinking about how can we be cheaper? How can we be more budget? Instead of thinking, how do we create a penthouse version of our wedding package so that we create value and we attract higher spend couples? I'll give you an example of this one. My client Mark, he actually has 5 venues. He was always attracting budget and discount hunters, right? Who's got that problem? Just pop a little me in the chat. Budget couples, discount hunters, it's a bit exhausting. Yeah, plenty of you seeing that. We overhauled their wedding sales journey, especially the easy to buy package. And within 30 days, his team sold one of those top packages, their penthouse package, which was the equivalent of double their usual average booking value. Okay, just let that sink for a minute. Imagine if you were able next month to sell a package that was double your normal average booking value. That would be pretty cool, right? Okay, the third thing to discuss, decision delay. Who is seeing this in their venues? Their teams are saying people are just taking so long now. What we are hearing, what I hear from teams when I start to work with them, is they say things like this to me. I wish I just got 5 quality, what they mean is hot, leads instead of 30 that go nowhere, i.e. cold leads, okay? Who has heard this from their teams? Or indeed, if you're managing couples, you might hear this, let me know in the chat. So I just wish I got 5 hot leads instead of 30 that go nowhere. Now, I understand the sentiment, but actually I need to flip this on its head, okay? Our couples are changing. They have an extended timeline between research to viewing the venue to booking. And you will be seeing this, okay? You're not alone. It's not you, it's the couples. They are taking much longer. I'm seeing frequently couples reaching out today and not viewing a venue for 3 months. Who's seen this? From the first inquiry point, and then you're like, wow, this couple reached out months ago and now they're finally coming in for a tour. From the day of the viewing, we're then seeing another few months before they actually come back and confirm, unless we put something in place to get a decision faster. Today's couples will not be rushed, they will not be pushed, and all of our old style sales tactics are not working. And so your team are feeling at a loss. How do we get people to move? How do we get them to do stuff? And what we need here is a nurture sequence of emails. This must be in place. From the moment they download the brochure on the website, you get their email address, they go through an automated nurture sequence that warms them up. This is the key here for the decision delay. And post viewing, after, we need that process to keep them on board. So when they are ready to make a decision, they haven't forgotten us. Now, we can do things like fast decision bonuses. Who feels like they're quite a fast decision maker? Wifey yes, M for no, tell me in the chat. Are you quite a fast decision maker? A lot of our couples struggle with fast decisions, okay? And so things we do is actually give couples a reason to make a decision within 3 days, not 2 weeks, not no worries, I'll hold it for a month. But if you book within 3 days, then we offer you the blah-de-blah-de-blah upgrade, accommodation, complimentary, whatever, as long as you pay your deposit within 3 days. These details are where we can start to move people faster, low pressure, but if they know we're the one, then make that decision. Again, if you're taking notes, write this one down. The business that does the best warm-up wins the wedding. So all of our couples are cold today because they're all coming digitally. So you can't expect 5 hot leads versus 20 cold leads. They're pretty much all cold. And so the business that does the best warm up is the one that wins the wedding. We warm them up through the nurture sequence of emails, taking them through a process that actually gets them ready to book a venue tour. Again, let me give you another example of this. My client Sarah, globally branded hotel group here. They were struggling with low conversions, but they did have a lot of leads, okay? Because they're a big hotel group. They had a lot of leads, but they were not converting. The team were inconsistent with follow-up, and the follow-up they did was not working. They had challenges with the brand because they had reasons why they couldn't adjust the wedding sales journey, which we got through, and especially creating their nurture sequence. But within 90 days, her team had increased their tours from previous leads and current leads by 42%. Because when you start warming these leads up correctly, that's when they will start coming in for that venue tour and your team can then work their magic. Okay, can you already see some of the gaps in your wedding sales journey? Let me know, Y for yes, M for no in the chat. Are there already like light bulbs going off that you can see there are gaps here? Let me know, Y for yes, M for no. Who is seeing the gaps in the sales journey? Yeah, Roberto, Claire, TBV Venues, Dawn's a yes, yes, yes. Veronica, Grace. Okay, perfect. Who would love to see some of these results that I've just shared in their own venues? Who would love to see some of these increases across the wedding sales journey? Listen, you're smart, okay? You are smart, you're experienced, you're senior leaders, you've been in hospitality the same as me for 400 gazillion years. You can absolutely figure this all out on your own, okay? Especially if you have spare time to test and try each detail. Because the wedding sales journey has various touch points, from how they find you, to what they see on the website, to what button they click, to what happens when they click that button, to what goes in the brochure, to what happens when we deliver the brochure, to what goes in the emails of the nurture sequence, to how we get them to venue tour. All of these steps almost all of them happen before they even get to your team. So if you have the time, you can test and try each detail. Some of you prefer the shortcut. Some of you want the most direct route. You want to save time and you want to save money. You want the exact blueprint to follow because you don't have the time or desire to test and try. So before we go to Q&A, which I'll open up in just a second, so if you have your questions, hold them. We're coming to that right now. I want to take 1 minute to share with you 3 ways that we can work together on your wedding sales journey. But in fact, today, I want you to focus on just one of them, which is the next level. So I'm going to show you 3, but I want your brain focused on the next level. Typically, the way I work with venues is as a wedding sales director. That's where I'm embedded as part of the team, and that's typically on a 3-month project at £12,000. I often go into venues and do a one-off sales day where I'll come in with my flip charts and I will just show everything you need to know in a 6-hour period, throw it all at you, and then you guys go and deliver the wedding sales journey yourselves in implementation. And that's £4,000 for the day. But what I want you to consider today is that the next level is a quick, smart, time-efficient way for you to get the wedding sales journey up and running, because it's an online training. We do an exact step-by-step of your wedding sales journey online for all members of your team. And you can come with me every week on Zoom to get feedback, to get support, to get things reviewed. Kelly, okay, we did the new packaging. Kelly, we did the new website page. Look at it. What did we get right? What did we get wrong? You get real-time feedback. And that is £450 for 90 days access. It is crazy when you think of the return on investment. What is your average wedding worth? 10 grand, 20 grand, even 5 grand if you're in a budget venue. £450 for 90 days. And you can see there, you can find all the information at kellymortimer.com/level. You get access to the full online training platform for all of your team where you can watch the exact steps you need. And you get the weekly review Zoom with me, so you get that critical feedback. And because I know what we're like in hospitality, you get a 90-day plan. It's a personalized sheet, a tracker, so you can see what your team is doing, what they've accomplished, what they've watched, what they've implemented, and you can make sure they're getting things done in that 90 days. Okay? Yes, well spotted, Chris. I like to demonstrate my own strategies. Now, if you book just one extra wedding from this session, what does that mean in terms of real return? And I want to do something super fun for you guys. For venues who join in the next 2 hours from now, 2 hours starts from now, I will do a personalized wedding sales audit, which is £500. Those you can book on my website. I go into your sales journey, I look at it all, I record your personalized video, normally about 45 minutes, exactly what you need to do in your journey. I will throw that in for you when you book the next level within the next 2 hours. You will get that personalized audit. Okay, yes, well done, Dawn. Absolutely. Perfect. So who has questions before we wrap up? Who has questions? All right, Alba, we're interested in the next level. What does the one-to-one weekly support look like? Great question. So that is a group Zoom call. It is on every week. You just come in, you can hang out and listen to everybody else's questions. You can see me review all their sales assets. You can ask your questions. You can say, okay, we made this adjustment, or we don't know what to do with this, or we don't know where to start with our pricing. And I will talk to you directly and help you to keep moving forward. So that's how the weekly calls look like. We have around 200 members inside the next level, and around 10 to 20 people show up to each live call. So there's always time to get your question answered. Okay, more questions. Emma, how long and frequently would you do a nurture sequence post viewing? Oh, brilliant question, Emma. So the post viewing sequence should never end. Here's the thing. When we are doing nurturing emails, they are not pushy. They are not, hey, are you ready to book? These are warm-up emails, okay? So after the person has come in, They should have a nurture sequence after the viewing, and then they should go on to your weekly or bi-weekly newsletter. So they are staying in touch with you, you're staying top of mind no matter how long it takes them to make a decision. Is there a suggested platform for the nurture sequence? Yes. So what we teach inside the next level is one called MailerLite. We're not affiliated with it. I just find it to be the absolute most user-friendly, cheap, good quality platform that you can send automated emails from. So MailerLite is the one that we recommend, and also our tech team inside the next level help our members to get up and running with that so that they can get support if they need it. But if you use a different one, it's perfect. It works just the same. You don't need to use that one. What language phrases would you be using in the nurturing emails? Ooh, interesting question. So it's not about the phrases you use, it's about the content of the nurture emails. So we are not trying to force people to come and see us for a tour. What we're doing is giving them more information about our venues. We're showcasing more beautiful imagery. We're highlighting elements of our venue, our service, our food, our location. Each of these emails is going to unwrap another little piece of the venue. So we're warming them up, showing them more, showing them beautiful images. So it's less about the language and the phrases and more about the topics. Julianne, if wedding days are not delivering which we do see, what should we be doing instead? So, for example, if I was to walk into your venue right now, let's say we were working together on a 3-month project, I'm now your wedding sales director. I would say pause everything. Your ads for Google pay-per-click, your open days, your paying to go to other wedding fairs, pause it all until your wedding sales journey is up and running, because until that, nothing's going to convert. Okay. So there was a group that I worked with recently. They had 3 venues up in the north. They were trying to do open days. People were just not turning up. They just didn't have anyone coming. And so they would put on all this effort. They would dress the rooms and basically no footfall. I don't know if that's what's happening to you or they're just not converting. The problem was you've got no people to actually invite. So when you create the correct wedding sales journey, you're gathering data. You've actually got email addresses of people who are vaguely interested in your venue that you can then invite to those open days later on down the line. But for most of my venues, they typically see that once the sales journey is functioning, then they don't even need the open days because everybody's just booking a one-to-one tour. Chris, how targeted should the wedding sales journey be by segment? We do lots. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so if we have very different types of couples, then you would want a slightly different journey and a different nurture sequence for those couples. That is a great question, Chris. Perfect. MBTL jumping in there to try and promote your services. Nice one. Roberto, what creates wow factor today? Your images. So you need to set your space for a photo shoot. Doesn't have to cost you a ton of cash. You get your suppliers involved. You set the space looking modern, inspirational. So your images on the website, on the listings actually attract today's couples. If your images have chair covers, if your images have chair covers and bows, if your images have one little Gerbera sticking out of a vase in the middle of the table, this will not attract the right kind of couples in today's world. So really ensure that your images look modern and inspirational for our couples. Okay. Amazing. Guys, just before we wrap up, I would love to hear what is the main takeaway from this conversation? What is the big light bulb moment that has struck you through our conversation, which has been short, fast, and impactful for you today? Tell me in the chat. Tell me in the chat. What's the one big thing that you're like, yes, I need to go and work on that? Dawn, yes, the Nokia and iPhone analogy. And I promise that is what's happening. Because when we update that wedding sales journey, when we make it for today's couples, then results start to change. Yes, Roberto, the way couples book. This research mode is huge. They want to gather information. They need to be nurtured. Yes, the nurturing emails, Victoria, the website, the nurture. Yes. And this is where even when we come in and train your team on sales, if those first pieces are not working, your team can actually be the best team on the planet, but we're not driving in the right leads and the good leads at the top end. Emma, they should hear from us forever. And when we use a system like MailerLite, they have an unsubscribe button. If they don't want to hear from you, they hit the unsubscribe. John, it's all digital. Yes. Review wedding page visitors last 90 days. Yes, absolutely. Yes, exactly. This is not just us experience the changes. No, Elaine, it's not, because it's not venues that's the problem. The buyer has changed. And just like the buyer changed for the iPhone, now we must change in response. We must create a wedding sales journey that actually works for today's couples. So, one last time, for those of you joining the next level in the next 2 hours, you will also get the bonus personalized sales audit. That is a personal video I create for you about your sales journey. So I will literally just tell you exactly the things that need changing immediately. You get full access, your whole team, from the general manager to the head of sales to your wedding event coordinator, everybody gets access. Yes, it's a learning portal, but also live calls with me to get real critical feedback. Let me know in the chat, has this call been useful for you? Let me know in the chat. We will wrap up right now. This has been amazing. Thanks for your input, your openness, your honesty in the chat. It's been super amazing to see you all there. Yes, amazing. Game changer, says Dawn. Fantastic, says Elaine. Absolutely 100%, says John. So good, guys. We'll see you next time. For those of you that have already jumped into the next level, I will see you over there. Take care. Bye-bye.